Hey, what's up everybody? So you guys wanted to see my Sonic or Shadow slash Sonic collection, since I did put this poll out here because I didn't know what video to make. Today is the release day, or well, the time of recording this video is the release day of the Sonic movie 3, which I will be seeing. So I have this fit on right now. Got my Shadow shirt on. Got some red in the hair a little bit there to represent your boy Shadow. But that is just some of the stuff that I have right there on the shelf. I don't have too much Sonic stuff. I used to have quite a bit of Sonic things, at least in the past. I had a lot of Jazzware stuff and whatnot. I am gonna try and get some of those stuff back. So a lot of this stuff right now is mainly Jax, but I plan on trying to buy back a lot of the Jazzware stuff that I used to have in the past. Everything up here on the shelf behind me right now is not absolutely everything. I have other stuff scattered around. But let's get started. I'll take a look at each thing individually. Some stuff I have not reviewed, some stuff I have. This will not be a review for those things that I have not reviewed. I will review those things that I haven't reviewed though sometime in the near future. But this is just a kind of a quick look, almost like a kind of a teaser. But a small little collection video, just due to the movie being out and everything. So let's get started. So the way I think that I'm gonna do this is I'm gonna do it on the review station, only because I want to show things separately and not just all at once. Just because it's all, I don't have too much. I have a decent amount of bit. I probably have just as much of Sonic stuff as I do Five Nights at Freddy's stuff right now. So I think we'll split it up into different sections and different eras and whatnot. So this first section is going to be the childhood era, and so this is stuff I still have from my childhood. And I consider that, from like being really little to pretty much getting out of high school. So I think the earliest thing that I do have would have to be my Shadow plushie. This is an original Jazzware's Shadow plush. I've had it for a long time. You can sort of kind of tell. It's seen, it's had worse for wear. The cut tag there's yellowed a little bit. It's a very old plushie, but it's still held up quite well, surprisingly. The arm there looks like it's ripping off a little bit, but this thing is held up pretty well. He's a little floppy, but yeah, this was a very nice plushie when it did come out, and I was super excited to have it. So that's pretty much it for the at least the plushie itself. And of course, the next thing I've still had from my childhood is this this missing-legged Jazzware Shadow. These things are super expensive nowadays, so I'm gonna try and get them back. Yeah, this one's broken. I've had him like in a drawer, just because I can't display him. He's broken, and he's the main reason why I want to try and re-get those figures back, although they are very pricey, unfortunately. But yeah, I have to definitely have to get a lot of these figures back. My main issue with this one is a lot of his joints are on backwards. So if you can see the foot here, his knee bends that way instead of the other way. It's weird. Some of the arms work the same way too. Like with this arm, it like bends. It'll bend backwards, but won't bend forwards. This one was put together very awful, but I really did like these figures back in the day, and I honestly wish they were still kind of around. They were really great. Yeah, they're really great looking figures. I really do want to get these back again. Another early item here is this little Shadow. Now, this was a dangler, so it had like a little string on it to like hang on stuff. But that has since broken off, since it's so old and everything. That's been lost to time. But I've still kept the little thing here. It's a little dinged up because I did have it attached to, I believe, an old Game Boy I used to have. But yeah, I mean, these things were really, really, really nice. I love these little things. I actually was going to see if I could get more of these too, because they had a lot of other ones, but this shadow one I pulled by myself through that blind bag a long time ago, and it's just a nice little shadow, you know, to display on my shelf. I do like, you know, little things like this sometimes, especially like little Pokemon figures like this and everything. And this shadow one's really nice because he's kind of like in that like grind position where he's grinding on a rail. It just looks really, really nice, and it's detailed pretty well. It's painted pretty good for the most part. I won't be doing like a review on this little guy, so I'm just going to do kind of like a small review here. But I mean, yeah, he's just a nicely little detailed little fella. And yeah, he's just a really nice looking little figure. Now, if you were growing up around the same time period that I was growing up, you would know that blind bags and boxes and stuff like that were a pretty big thing in early 2000s when it came to, you know, just like little mystery things. And Gachitomi actually made these, which I actually did a video on these. It's a very old video, so you guys have to like scroll down and down and down to actually see that opening video. But I opened a whole case of these, and I got a whole bunch of them. A lot of them I sold off, or I've gotten rid of. But I still have, you know, obviously a complete entire set. Shadow doesn't like to stand. He's the only one who doesn't like standing. I will go over some of these a little quick, show you some of my favorites. Of course, Shadow's my favorite, but when I was younger, I didn't get a full set of these. I think when I was younger, I actually only had a Werehog one here, which is pretty nicely done for Werehog Sonic, and it was a really interesting pack-in. I feel like they would have done like Eggman or Amy or something, or even Tails, because Tails isn't even in this set, which is just weird. But they did Werehog, which is interesting, because Werehog Sonic was pretty big at the time. And he was nicely done. But I always had this one. Never had Supersonic. Supersonic is okay. Doesn't look terrible. I mean, these things aren't really supposed to look good. They're not too bad. I did have a Knuckles back in the day. So here's obviously Knuckles and everything. And when you would get them, they would like be in like pieces, and you have to put them together because they were like buildable figures, and they're just nice little things. These have been knockoffs and everything. These are the legit ones. I do have a full video opening an entire case of them. I never had Metal Sonic. Metal Sonic's a really, really good looking one. I really do like the way this Metal Sonic looks. Pretty interesting one to put into as well. And then, of course, Sonic here. I think I might have had a Sonic back in the day. I'm not 100% sure. But of course, here is Sonic. And then Shadow, which I never had when I was younger, and it really made me mad, but that I never could get Shadow. But then I eventually got that whole case of them, and then opened it here on YouTube. I have, again, videos up if you guys want to see it. It's a very old video. But yeah, I mean, so here's the Shadow. Not painted too well. Painted kind of very limited, like, which is kind of unfortunate, but I mean, that's what you get when you get little blind bag things like that. But I will showcase two doubles that I did keep, because I painted them up. So then here's Metal Sonic. I never finished Metal Sonic, but I had like chrome to him and gave him a metallic finish, at least on his head. It looks pretty cool. And of course, Shadow here, just painted in the missing details and whatnot, and rockets on the feet and all that, just to kind of finish him up and actually make him look a little bit complete. I do have another one of these Shadows that I painted up that I actually have like stuck on my dashboard in my car. But yeah, I mean, these things were really nice, and yeah, they do fall apart. But these things were really nice, and if you guys want to check out that video, I'll pull it up here. It is super old and dated. It's not like how I make videos now, so laugh at how cringe it is, if you will. But yeah, these things were really nice. Now, here's my Lego Shadow from when I was younger. So if you guys don't realize, or if you never knew, there was a Lego Dimensions pack when Lego Dimensions was a thing that had a Sonic pack. So this is that Sonic minifigure, at least the head is. I just turned it into Shadow when I was younger because I wanted a Shadow Lego minifigure so bad. You have a little bike here and everything. And then these Chaos Emeralds are from a different Lego Sonic set, which I will show in the different era of my life. But yeah, here's the kind of Lego Shadow. This is before they actually made a Lego Shadow, which I do have. Yeah, this is a very old custom Lego minifigure I did a long time ago, so it's not really the prettiest looking. Yeah, it's kind of bad, but to me, for the time, it was pretty good. I did the quills differently on each side. This one, I think I, like, crimped them or something. And then this side, I, like, actually, no, this side, I think, was crimped. This side was, like, shaved down or something. I don't know, but you can see they're very, very, very uneven. Yeah, I mean, this Shadow custom was not terrible at the time, but thank God they made one, so that way I can actually have a Lego Shadow minifigure. But that's pretty much it for, Lego Shadow. Now, the last and final item for the childhood kind of era is, of course, the Superposer Shadow. If you guys ever had one of these things are amazing. They're just nice display pieces. They look really cool, and they're like super highly articulated and posable and everything. Fun fact, this one is the Jazzwares one, but the company who actually made these designs and everything before Jazzwares bought the license, I believe it was Toy Island, I think. I believe that's what the company was called. I'm not 100% sure. I used to know quite a bit, but I'm pretty sure it was Toy Island. But these Superposers weren't based on the modern designs. Well, it does look like it's a modern design. You can tell by, of course, the shoes and just the overall like look and proportions that is actually from Sonic X, because these things were, at least the designs were made for the Superposers, and there was 2 Superposers released. There was a Sonic and a Shadow released for Sonic X when that show was a thing, and by far that is the best Sonic show ever. I don't care what anybody says, that is the best. Because they had the most lore and everything in that movie. Show. It was perfect. But yeah, so this is the Shadow Superposer, and this one is a rebuy. This is not the actual original one I had, because the actual original one I had was broken. Funny story about the Superposer Shadow, though, is I remember when me and my dad were shopping for my brother's birthday, and I told my dad that I wanted this figure. He ended up buying it for my brother for his birthday, and I kept hounding my brother for me to have this figure. And it was just a funny little story around it. So rebuying it definitely has some sentiment value to it. And it's a really nice figure, and I highly recommend it. These things go for like $100-some bucks or so. Not the most expensive thing in my Sonic collection. That's coming up right after this one. But it is still a very nice looking Shadow figure, painted and sculpted very beautifully. It's the perfect Shadow figure in my opinion. No Shadow figure comes close to it. You can pose the quills and everything. It's a super posable figure. You can even like pose the ears and everything too. It's a really crazy looking figure. Highly recommend it. They're painted also quite nice, because back in the day, things were actually painted well. But that's pretty much it for these Superposer. I will do reviews on some of these things in the future. But next up is probably my most expensive Sonic item to date. Now, the most expensive Sonic figure I have is, of course, my Sonic and the Black Knight Sir Lancelot Shadow. Now, this thing has some issues. For one, doesn't want to stand, doesn't like to stand. This figure is very, very famous for not wanting to stand, at least for me. Now this one is kind of like the special version, which is like purple. I don't know why they did a purple one, but I was really drawn to the purple one because purple is my favorite color. And honestly, I really do think that the purple looks pretty good. But as you can see, he's very, very floppy and loose. I believe these were some of the last figures Jazzwares made. And of course they are in the bigger scale too as well. I will do a review on this figure because I really do like this thing. We'll lead to this to the side for right now. I did have to glue the feet in because they kept popping off. So those have been glued in for a long time, which kind of makes them not able to stand as much, but I know if I were to just kind of lean him forward a little bit, he could stand. He's just a pain in the ass to get to stand. But yeah, I mean, he's very floppy, very loose, but oh, man, this thing is awesome. There's the paint and detail on this thing. The fact that you can actually, flip up the front little piece there, and you can actually take this piece off if you wanted to. But of course, I keep it flipped down. It's just a really cool look for a Shadow that often goes overlooked, and honestly, it's very underrated because I mean, this look is just so sick. And even Sonic the Black Knight is I don't care what anybody says, Sonic the Black Knight was a really fun game. It's just a shame it was only for the Wii. I feel like it could have been made for things like Xbox and all that. But it was a really fun game. And his sword too is just really, really sick. Funny story is I actually ended up finding this guy at my my old childhood house at my stepdad's. And I was so surprised when I found him because I thought I had lost this guy a long time ago. So I was thinking about rebuying it, and then I realized the price for these things are like $500+, and it's just ridiculous. But I'm glad I found it, and it is the last figure of my childhood, and honestly the most expensive from my collection.
Now, really quick before we get into this section, I did kind of forget that
So, I might be a little bit sick, might sound a little bit sick, so kind of excuse that, but I had to take a couple days to stop recording this video because I was sick. But now it's time we get into the, what do I call it? It's kind of like the out of high school era of my Sonic collecting. So we're going to take a look at right now. So to start off, the first kind of thing, which was kind of as part of this era, was of course the Shadow Funko Pop. Yep, it's a Funko Pop, nothing too crazy or special. Got this at Comic-Con. When I did go, I got another Funko Pop with it, but that was a Carnage one. But I got this pretty cool, Shadow Funko Pop. He looks pretty cool. It's in a protector. He's a little bit dusty because I have these things just displayed down here, but yeah, not too bad. And then after that, Lego decided to actually come out with a Lego Sonic set, and it was part of the Lego Ideas. I have Robotnik to the side of me. It was part of the Lego Ideas, so it was a pretty cool little set that had come out, and I decided to pick it up because it's pretty dope. It's based on the classic Sonic. So you have the boxes and everything. You have this design for a Robotnik and everything. It's a pretty cool, nice looking set. I really do like the Eggman pod, and the Sonic minifigure is also pretty cool. It's that classic Sonic. It would have been cool if they give him the kid legs, like the small minifigure legs. Would have made sense, but yeah, I mean, it's a pretty nice little set. You can have them spinning around or run around on a loop-de-loop there. It's just a nice overall looking set, and it looks really good. Now, during this era, I was kind of out of Sonic for quite a decent amount of time. That was until the Sonic movies came out.
And then I started to kind of revitalize my love for the Sonic franchise and everything. So I started buying a lot of stuff. And one of the things I did buy was, of course, a lot of the Jax specific figures that they started coming out with. So I got like a lot on eBay that was like $300, and it came with a whole bunch of them. But a lot of those I have sold off, so I only kept a couple of them. So I have, oh, of course she wants to fall. So in that lot, it came with Omega, which was a figure that I really wanted because he just looks so cool. Of course, Shadow, obviously kept Shadow. And Rouge, kept her. For some weird reason, I kept Amy. I don't remember why. I could have sold her off. Then, of course, here's my custom, the only one, like, Sonic one I have left, which is my Sonic.exe custom. But these are the ones I still kept. Of course, the custom I kept, because I can't really sell that. Amy I kept for some weird reason. I had Silver, a regular Sonic. I had, like, the two, like, neon, like, Knuckles and Tails. I had, I think I may have had a Super Sonic. I think I had a Super Silver. It's kind of hard to remember what all I had from that lot, but this is all that I kept from it, at least. But, yeah, these figures were really great. Of course, I had to keep Team Dark because, you know, Sonic Heroes and whatnot. This Rouge figure is pretty nice. I really do like this Rouge figure, and her wings move and everything, which is cool. This figure is super sick. Amy's kind of cool with that hammer. Shadow obviously just looks so good. Like, this Shadow figure is just great with that gold and everything. Just looks so cool. And then, of course, Omega is just a super nice looking figure. I really do enjoy this Omega, and he's like super articulated too. Like, every part of him is just very nicely articulated. Jax does a really good job with these figures. I really do love these Jax figures quite a lot, actually. And now we get into Sonic 2. The Sonic 2 movie was pretty big for me. I was also working at McDonald's at the time, so I got a lot of the McDonald's toys too. But of course, had to get the figures. I skipped out on Knuckles and Tails because at the time I didn't want them, and I'm kind of glad I did because obviously Sonic 3 is out right now, and those figures are amazing. But of course we had Sonic here. Decent figure. It's not terrible. I don't know why they like did that little thing with his fur. These figures were alright. They weren't terrible. They were definitely some cool looking figures. And then they came with these kind of like little base things that they could be on. And of course I bought a second one so I could turn it into Shadow. Yeah, it's not my best work. These quills on this side are definitely a lot better than the other ones. It's very uneven and very sloppily done and put together. Because at the time my skills really weren't that great. And I made this Shadow because, spoiler alert, in the Sonic 2 post-credit scene, it's Shadow. And obviously now, knowing that now, a lot of you probably already know that. Because Shadow is now in the third movie. Which, honestly, was a really, really good movie. But aside from the regular figures, of course, there was the McDonald's toys. So I pretty much have almost all of them. I kind of skipped out on some of them because I didn't really want some of them, but I pretty much have almost every single one of them. I skipped out on the two on the Knuckles and Sonic that were on the surfboard things. I think there might have been a Tails on the surfboard too. So I definitely skipped out on that. And I did get, well, I did skip out on the Egg Robot too. But I do actually have doubles of the Supersonic here in the back. Right here, I have a double of the Supersonic that I made into Shadow, of course, because I just have to have everything Shadow. So I made a Shadow out of that, which is, again, poorly done, but, you know, it is just a McDonald's toy. I do kind of like how I did the shoes a bit, though. But yeah, it's very sloppily done. And then, of course, another one of those Sonics, so I can make another Shadow. So, yeah, we got that going on there. These are pretty nice. They're really, really nice. The Sonic 3 McDonald's toys that came out, I don't think they're as cool as these ones are. They're still cool, but not as cool as these ones were. I really do like these, especially this one. This one is just so cool. Like, I don't know, just looking at it, it's just cool. But yeah, that is pretty much, I think, it for this era. Now we get into the current day slash, you know, like my 20s, because I'm 22 now. So yeah, now we get into current day slash 20s era of my Sonic collecting. And so with the first set of items, of course, is Lego Sonic. So they came out with a couple sets, and there's some pretty good ones. Now, a little bit of a kind of story, I guess, is when Lego Dimensions Sonic first came out, I never thought we'd get like Lego Sonic at all. So when that Lego Dimensions thing came out, and I saw the story for Lego Dimensions with Sonic and everything in it, I always wanted some Lego Sonic sets. But then, you know, as the years went by, it was a pretty long time, which was just kind of weird. I don't know why they wouldn't bank on Lego Sonic a lot earlier, but it took a while for them to actually do Lego Sonic sets. But I am glad that they eventually did do Lego Sonic sets, because, I mean, we got, at least for the first couple of sets, some pretty nice sets. Now, I don't have all of them. I only have the specific ones I want, because I don't want, I didn't want, like, duplicate minifigures and whatnot. So I got the Egg Robo for Dr. Eggman and Sonic, of course, came from that. I got the Knuckles mech with the Master Emerald that came with Rouge and Knuckles. And then I did the Amy's, like, Island Adventure, or whatever it wants to be called, for both Tails and Amy. So that way I wasn't getting any duplicates. For this first wave, still no Shadow, so I still had to wait on him. Funny thing is, this Master Emerald set, it wasn't a full-on Master Emerald kind of, like, thing. It was just that little piece. And then Knuckles got a mech for some reason. But now, then recently they released the actual Master Emerald thing, which I don't have. I have to get it, but that means I'm gonna have doubles of both Amy and Knuckles. So I'll probably sell those minifigures off, or give them away or whatever. But yeah, so these were the Lego Sonic sets, and they look absolutely perfect. One thing I will say about this though is, I did love the plate feature. I do love it. Here's like the modern Sonic in there. Because you smash down this and he rolls out and everything, and you can build it like it's kind of like in one of the games. But these things are cool. Highly recommend them. They are absolutely amazing. Sorry if some of these things feel like they're a little bit out of release order. If you guys are paying attention to any of the release order, during around this time it can be kind of shady or kind of hard to figure out, you know, when I did get things around certain times, just because I know majority of the stuff is old, but some of the stuff I'm not 100% remembering. You know, it's mainly the recent stuff. But one of the other things I have is, of course, this, which is a complete diorama. They were all like individual like blind boxes and stuff. Really easy to figure out who was who in those blind boxes, to be honest. But so I got them all and completed the entire thing. And it does look really, really nice, although Tails likes to fall all the time. But it's a nice diorama. The first one I got was Shadow, because I wanted him so bad. He's my favorite. Last one, which was kind of hard to get, which was really surprising, was Sonic. He's the hardest to get, which is just weird. But yeah, so I have this, and it looks nice, and kind of cheap. They're like, what, like $3 or $4 each. Pretty nice. Now, a couple, I believe, weeks or months went by. Now this is going to be the era of the, you know, fearless year of Shadow. So this is the year of Shadow era, which is this current era. And this is where I went pretty hard on Sonic stuff. So then, at the beginning of the year, they released, of course, Shadow here. And this was pretty much around or after last year's Christmas, I believe. because they released him, and he was only a $20 set. But in the $20 set, you get the bike from the Shadow the Hedgehog game, which is super nice and sick. This gun is a custom gun I just gave him. So we actually got a Shadow Lego minifigure, and he looks so good and so perfect. This thing is amazing. I absolutely love this minifigure. He's so detailed. He's perfect. This bike is amazing. It's a good set. And I believe this came with the set. This little rhino thing. So you got that and can move and whatnot. So you got that. And then of course you get Shadow's pod too, with some, detailing and stuff on the inside there, which is pretty cool. But yeah, finally got a Shadow set, and it was really cheap. It's a cheap set you can get them in. It is perfect. There were other sets that released a couple months after, but I did not get those. We'll probably get some of those. Just currently don't have them. Now the next, figure. I was under the assumption. That's the word I want to use. I was under the assumption that this next figure was actually kind of, I wouldn't say exclusive, but more so hard to get. But I just randomly came across it one day while just deciding to look into Target, because why not? And I randomly came across it because this is during the time when Sonic Prime came out. Yeah, so I believe it was, maybe early within this year, or was it still a little bit next year? I don't know. I struggle with times and whatnot. But I actually came across this as the Sonic Prime Shadow figure. And I was so happy when I came across it, because Shadow's my favorite, of course. And it was a new Shadow figure, and he looks so good. He's a really great figure. He's pretty much damn near perfect. Super jointed and everything, so Jax, basically made an upgrade to a bigger size here, and with more articulation, but still around the same price, which was really cool. So I did end up getting him. Not a big fan of just the black spots on the bottoms for the shoes. I feel like the colors should have been swapped around, but I don't know. Yeah. All in all, really great looking figure. I actually do really, really like it. But this is the only thing I picked up that day, because the other thing I picked up was this Gujitsu pack. And there's a hair on it. But it's just like Gujitsu, like miniature Sonic pack. There's no Knuckles in it, because I gave the Knuckles to my girlfriend because she loves Knuckles. But I mainly got it for the Shadow, of course. Because I couldn't find Shadow on his own. If I found Shadow on his own, I probably wouldn't have gotten the pack, but you can see them there on the back. A nice little pack. I used to keep them in there so that way they don't get dirty. I opened them like once to mess around with them. Yeah, these things are pretty cool. Yeah, they're just pretty cool. Although the price for this was not cool. Now, you're gonna see a lot of Shadow stuff, mainly because obviously it's the year of Shadow. But here's a can of Sonic Energy drinks, or at least just this one can. My girlfriend got this for me, and then I tweaked out on it because honestly this thing is super strong. Yeah, don't mess with G Fuel. But during a couple days after, I went to Dollar Tree, and they actually had these things called Squeezelings. I don't know why they're called Squeezelings. I tried to squeeze it, and they're really, I don't know why they call them that. They're just little blind bag figures, but you could easily feel around the bag, and made sure I got the Shadow one. Although mine came with a free hair on his arm from the sweatshop. So whatever Temu shop or sweatshop was making these, I got one of your free hairs. But yeah, I mean, it's just doesn't look pretty or nothing, but he's just a nice little Shadow, and he does look pretty cool. Now we're kind of entering the Sonic 3 kind of era of Sonic stuff. So around that time, figures weren't out yet, but I did find this kind of Shadow drink for kids. I mean, it was like an apple juice, but it had Shadow on it, so I had to buy it. So I got that. And then the like official like first Sonic stuff that I got, of course, was the I believe these came out first. So these started showing up. I managed to actually get a Shadow one. So we got the Shadow one, and then of course I saw Sonic in stores, so picked up Sonic as well. Then I don't remember if I found I believe I found Shadow along with Sonic. I'm pretty sure I did actually. So I did get Shadow, of course. Skipped out on the Tails and the Robotnik, because Robotnik was out of scale, didn't look as good as these ones did, and Tails didn't like the expression on it. That, and also I couldn't find him, which was really strange, because Shadow was supposed to be the one that was hard to find. But I found him, Sonic, and the little mini Shadow there. But before I found even the regular figures for those guys, I actually found the plush, which is the normal Shadow plushie. So I got him the one day, and I got my girlfriend the Knuckles one. So I found pretty much that guy first, got him, and then a couple days went by, and then these showed up, so I got those. And then after that, they released the deluxe Shadow plush. So then that's when I got the deluxe movie Shadow plushie, which arguably, and I know he's kind of out of frame here. Here, I'll just take the phone out. So actually, no, I'll just put it. The deluxe Shadow plushie, which arguably is probably the best Shadow plush there is. Let me actually just move these guys out of the way and show off this Shadow a lot better. That's my bad. But yeah, the deluxe Shadow plushie, which arguably is probably the best Shadow plush we've ever gotten, just because like his quills look so good and full. Everything looks really nice. There's like a little bug or something on there. I live in a basement, if you guys don't know, so I get lots of like spiders and bugs and cobwebs I have to constantly clean up. But yeah, I mean, arguably he's the best Shadow plushie I think we've gotten ever, and he's just really nice. But then after he was released, then they came out with the 5-inch, was it like a 5-pack, I believe? No, it was the 4-pack, the 5-inch 4-pack. And then, so that's when I got, wow, that plushie really like messed up my review station. Let me get this all situated. Okay, there we go. So they released the figure 4-pack, which had, of course, these two light-up figures. So you got two really cool light-up figures. And then, of course, you had Knuckles. So I got the Knuckles for the 5-inch. And then they had a Tails. So then I was able to actually get Tails for the 5-inch assortment. So I had the full crew from Sonic 3, which was really nice. So now I had all three and plus 2 new versions, being the light-ups. And actually the Tails from the 4-pack has a different expression than the single release, so definitely like the expression with the 4-pack one a lot better. And then I decided to go back to Target. They had more Shadows, so I have a Shadow mint in box, keeping it in box until I meet Keanu Reeves one day. So I'll have that. And then after that, I believe, yeah. So I made a trip to Five Below, and they actually had these Jada metal figures. So I picked up Shadow, of course. Gotta pick up Shadow. And then they had the little like Sonic Racing ones, so got Shadow in that too as well. 2 little nice things, both $5 each. So you know, pretty inexpensive, but still very nice and cool. And then after that, they actually released, actually no, these come out after, but I will show them now just because I already did a review on them. And then as far as the last of the figures for Sonic 3, of course, they released the Super Sonic and Super Shadow, so I picked those guys up, and I have them too. They're very nice and cool. So that's pretty much it for a lot of the bulk of the figures and stuff. And now I'm just going to show just a couple of extra stuff that I got a little after I got that super pack, or even before or during. Now for the last kind of couple items for Sonic in my Sonic collection. I did end up going on Amazon to get these kind of Sonic like little coin purse things that remind me of you know, my childhood, because I had seen these things at Party City a long time ago, but when I bought them, I got the wrong ones. I got like some like newer ones that were made, and they don't look as good as the ones that were, you know, made a long time ago. I wish I could show you which ones I was talking about, but they both look similar, so if I did show them to you, they'd be a little bit, yeah. So I got a Shadow and a Sonic because they came in a bundle, but the pictures were of the ones that I remember from a long time ago. Not these ones, which are nothing like the ones I remember. So these are definitely some different ones, and apparently some other people had some complaints of them getting these ones instead of the ones actually pictured, which kind of sucks. But so we do have a Sonic one here. Might give it to my girlfriend. I'll keep the Shadow, of course, but yeah, I got the Sonic one here. It's a very strange plushy material. It's like a very, I don't know, like a knockoff fleshy material, and like the back things are just, the back spines are just done so wrong. It's so bad. But yeah, I do got these little like coin purses, so they like open up at the top, and these ones don't have a lot of room as that ones I remember from a long time ago, which sucks. Then here's Shadow. I mean, these things just look so cheap, and they move around and everything, like it's just like ridiculous. This looks so bad. There's barely any detail on the shoes. Yeah, these things are just a big miss, but yeah, got both of those. And then I ended up getting another Lego minifigure of Shadow, but I got it on Mercari because I was actually turning him into a, you know, Black Knight Shadow, which is coming out not too bad. He's not finished, but he's coming out not too bad. I think it actually looks quite good. You can see his mouth underneath the mask there, but I might black that out just because his eyes are showing through and it makes it a little bit strange. But yeah, it's a pretty nice looking little Black Knight Shadow to start off with. Not terrible. Not finished, but you know, not terrible. And then my girlfriend actually got me something because she found it at I believe it was like CVS while she was going there. But she actually got me a Squishmallow of Sonic. They have a Shadow one. I want to get the Shadow one. They have like metallic one and a regular one. I want to get both of them. But she got me the Sonic one. Now, I'm going to be completely honest. I absolutely hate and despise Squishmallows. I think they're silly and goofy and stupid. But the Sonic ones don't look that bad. And it was a gift from my girlfriend. And I love my girlfriend. So I do like this one. Because I think the Sonic ones really aren't that terrible, but a majority of Squishmallows just look so just strange, and I don't know. I know I have autism for liking both Transformers and Sonic and whatnot, but I generally think that a lot of like people who are way crazy over Squishmallows, I mean, you know, you be you, but it's definitely a form of autism. But yeah, I mean, it's a pretty nice little size Squishmallow, and I do quite like it. And then, for the final two items, I'll save the best for last. You know, these two I'm about to show are recent. Five Below had these. It was in a 2-pack, but of course, Shadow, gotta get it. So I had Shadow in here. It's not painted very well. And I have Sonic here too, also not painted very well. But the eye placement's a lot better on Sonic than it is Shadow. I don't know what Shadow's doing, but this was, believe it or not, this was the best painted one I could find. Yeah. But the last two final items was, along with that, I did find a poster at Five Below, and it is the Shadow poster from Sonic 3. So I got a nice, really cool Shadow poster. So I have to hang that up still. It's a kind of a boring poster. because just Shadow there, but I mean, it's still a cool poster nonetheless. Definitely gonna be getting more Sonic 3 posters. I need them all. But as far as one of the last items here, since it is the year of Shadow, if you're ever in the bedding section of Target, they actually have a very big Shadow plushie. So here's, I mean, just his shoes. I mean, he's a very detailed plush too. They have a pretty big and huge Shadow kind of bed plushie. I mean, he's big. And this is a big Shadow plushie, and he looks really good. Probably one of the other, like, really good Shadow plushies out there. It's really super, super nice. And it was only 20 bucks too, which is also really nice. But yeah, got a nice and big Shadow plushie there to pretty much end off the video. Now, I can 100% bet that I'm probably getting some Sonic stuff for Christmas. I'm pretty sure my girlfriend got me the Build-A-Bear Sonic 3 Shadow plushie, so I will pretty much have almost every Sonic 3 Shadow plush there is out there. All in all, that is pretty much it for this Sonic collection video. That's pretty much everything I have. So I hope you guys did enjoy the video, and I hope that you guys will like and subscribe. Make sure to follow my socials and whatnot. And I will see you in the next video, which will probably be Mayfix Venom, since that was the second highest voted video to do. So I'll probably see you guys in that video. But as far as right now goes, that is all. I got some more videos planned coming up, like some fake Pokemon booster boxes that are honestly pretty interesting, and I'm really happy to crack into those. But that's it for now. See you guys later. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow my socials. Bye now.